Greeting, my friends. My name is Ralph Cheriza, and this is a preview of what will soon be the Cheriza report. And in that broadcast, what we want to do is to look at several issues that are of interest to to Haitians from all over the world, whether you in Haiti or New York, Florida, France, wherever you find yourself. We're gonna address specific issues that need clarity. And as a preview of the show, we wanted to talk about something that is important because we're getting closer to that anniversary. 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, something happened in Haiti, a tragedy that shattered our lives and dreams, and we still talk about it with deep emotion. And we were promised a lot of things, and a lot of us were hoping that it was gonna be the new beginning. It was gonna be a new page for this Haiti that we so dearly love. We were waiting patiently because the international community came right after that, and they met in New York. They made promises. About $10 billion were pledged to reconstruct, to rebuild Haiti, and we were hoping. And today, we look at the situation in Haiti, and we realize that it's basically the same thing in terms of change, in terms of reconstruction. Nothing really happened. The only thing that we have is the promise that something should happen very soon. Money have been spent. Half of the money that international donor pledge have been committed and spent, but we don't see the result. So now, the question for us, Haitian, whether we in Haiti, whether we in the United States or elsewhere, is what do we do? Do we continue to rely on the international community, or do we take matters into our own hands and say we will rebuild? And to me, this is, we are at the crossroad, and we need to make a decision. And let me say this before we get to that point. A few years ago, there's a gentleman that the United Nations went to, and they say, we want you to go to Haiti, we want you to look at the country and come up with a plan. We want you to propose something that we can do, something that would help us redesign and rebuild Haiti. And he made his recommendation, and this is a report that every Haitian should be reading. And in that report, the recommendation he made was that, and I have to also say this is a good friend of Bill Clinton, and his name is Paul Collier. And his recommendation is that let's just keep wage very low, extremely low in Haiti, so that they can compete with other countries. And we will have a lot of jobs, and that's why you hear now they talking about building a hotel like Hilton, like Best Western in Haiti. That's part of that plan. Now, you also have another gentleman by the name of Paul Vallas. Paul Vallas was, he has a contract to write a new curriculum for Haiti as part of a mandate given to Inter-American Development Bank to reform the education system in Haiti. And they've been sitting on that money for 2 years. Nothing really happened. Not the first page of the curriculum has been written. So we're still waiting, and they have the money. They go from Chicago to Port-au-Prince, spending money, but we're not getting anything out of this. And what I'm getting at is that the reconstruction of Haiti is up to us. We need to make a commitment. And as we look back 2 years after the earthquake, that's the lesson that we should learn. Millions still live under tents, makeshift tents, and they have no hope of ever move to a permanent place. They're trying to make it, but they are on their own. There's a tax that's been imposed on money transfer and call to Haiti to help more students go to school, and we have no way of verifying that the money is being spent where it should be spent. You and I, we need to come together as what they call the Haitian diaspora to make sure that we have a strong voice in Haiti. And having that strong voice is not just a matter of getting the dual citizenship that we've been fighting for, but it's also make sure that we are in a position where we can influence decisions that are being made about the future of Haiti. And those decisions right now are being made by the international community. The Haitian diaspora, the so-called Haitian diaspora, need to replace the international community. Not to say that we have to get rid of the international community, not to say that we don't need support from international partners, but we need to be at the driver's seat. We need to be able to decide as Haitian, this is where we want to go, and this is the help that we need. But we must mobilize our resources first. And by resources, I'm talking about not just fiscal resources, but also human resources. Because I do believe that we do have Haitians living abroad right now who have the knowledge that Haiti needs to move from that mayhem to a place where Haitian can pursue dreams and find opportunities for the children and the grandchildren. So that's the lesson. So to me, what we need to do as we get to mark that day is to come together as communities, whether it's the Haitian community in Palm Beach or in Miami, but come as one community to think about what's been happening since January 12, 2010. This is the important issue, the one thing that is critical for us to understand and as we move forward is that the destiny of Haiti is ours to shape. So we need to find ways to work together. Now people say it's not gonna happen because we never work together. Well, during slavery time, that was the challenge our ancestors faced. Because understand that the slaves that came together to fight for independence, they were very much fragmented because they came from different countries and they spoke different languages. You had about 200 different ethnic groups that were represented in Saint-Domingue, but they overcame language barrier to start talking to each other because they understood they had one common enemy. And today it's the same thing for us, for this generation rising. We have a challenge, and the challenge is that we have a country that is broken, and if we do not come together, the country will remain broken and the country will surely die. Some people say, well, this is a country, what are you talking about? Well, you have states that like if you look at the former Yugoslavia, things happened. If we do not realize the danger that we face and decide that we're gonna face that danger heads up and understand the challenge and come up with a plan, a specific plan to address the issues, we will pay a price. January 12 was a price that we paid because for years we know that there were challenges with respect to the environment, and we never took care of them, and we paid that price. When you understand that over 250,000, close to 500,000 of Haitian died, and millions they were left with nothing, we paid a heavy price, and we're gonna continue to pay those prices if we do not stop. We pause and we say, okay, what is it that we need to change? How do we challenge our own beliefs, our own assumption, so that we can change our behavior and come up with a realistic plan to transform Haiti? I do believe that we can do it, but it's gonna require real leadership, enlightened leadership. And when I'm talking about enlightened leadership, I'm talking about leaders who are able to go to the people and say, I do understand your aspiration, and I have a plan to get you there. And not everything that I'm gonna tell you you will like, but I have to tell you the thing that you need to hear, not necessarily the thing that you want to hear. We're gonna have to make a tough decision, and these are the decisions. And this is the type of leadership that we need, but we also need what I call responsible citizenry. Citizens who understand that they have not just right, but also responsibility. They have duties towards the country, and they are willing to assume those responsibilities. Now that's the challenge we face today. Of course, we are a country with basically nothing. When you look at Haiti, most people will think we have nothing. What are you talking about? There's no way we can rebuild. But there's a concept that for those of us who come from the countryside, we are very familiar with, is what they call combit. Combit is basically farmers coming together, and I may not have enough money to labor my farm, but we come together as a community, and today is my turn. Everybody come to my farm, and we work together, and then tomorrow it's your turn, and we go and we work with you. The job is done even though we don't have the money. And that's what needs to happen now. We do have Haitians who have the knowledge that we can use. What is required is the leadership to bring everybody together. We do have a few things that we can contribute. Haitians living in the diaspora can do something. When we're talking about rebuilding schools, you can look at the town that you came from. You can look at your hometown, and you say, well, I'm gonna support the building of community school there, which is what I'm calling for, as opposed to giving money to private schools so that they can educate other kids. Instead of giving the money to a private business, we can build private schools, and community schools, and those community schools, they have the responsibility to offer tuition-free education services. So these are the things that I'd like you to keep in mind as you mark the second anniversary of the earthquake, and come together as as a community wherever you are. In Palm Beach, join us at St. John United Methodist Church, 3215 North Seacrest Boulevard. It's right between Ipoloxo and Gateway. So meet with us there. And if you need more information, you can reach me at 561-703-4921. 561-703-4921. And let's spend the time to think about the tragedy and how do we move forward. My name is Ralph Cheriza. See you next time.